jets, paid for with your tax dollars. Melania adds another $100,000 to Trump's massive travel tab as she flies separately to Mar-a-Lago with Barron. Melania Trump flew separately to join President Trump for a long Easter weekend at Mar-a-Lago, getting the chance for some quality family time, while also contributing to her husband's growing taxpayer-paid travel tab. The First Lady arrived in West Palm Beach Thursday on a government aircraft, the military version of a Boeing 757, about 6:30 p.m., just minutes before her husband landed on Air Force One. Vice President Mike Pence took the same plane Melania used to a conference in Munich earlier this year. The first lives at Trump Tower with her and the president's son, Barron, whose private school in New York is off this week for spring break. The per-hour cost of operating the plane is $15,846, meaning the total trip cost was at least $100,000. Conservative pro-transparency group Judicial Watch estimates that it costs taxpayers $1 million for each trip President Trump takes to Mar-a-Lago. Another available figure is the $3.6 million it cost President Obama to take a single trip to Chicago and Palm Beach while in office. This has prompted some to tabulate Trump's running costs at over $20 million. Tom Fitton, president of the group, sued to gain access to Obama-era travel documents, said Trump should be cognizant of the costs borne by taxpayers. Taxpayers are on the hook for each trip. We have a right to expect that the president be a steward of these funds, and funds that he has direct control over, because he decides whether to go or not, Fitton told. But Fitton said Obama took more egregious trips, practically using Air Force One for touring every golf course in America. She is staying in New York to be close to her son. Should she be punished? Should the Trump family be punished by not being all to travel where the president is going to be on a holiday like Easter? Fitton asked. The Air Force makes additional outlays each time the president travels aboard Air Force One. The price is $142,380 per hour, or about $332,173 to fly from Joint Base Andrews. According to the New York Times, the president has spent 22 days at Mar-a-Lago during his presidency, which hit its 85th day Friday. He has spent 27 days, or nearly a third of his time in office, visiting a Trump property. His travel has sometimes drawn criticism for providing brand promotion for his properties at taxpayer expense. Annual club dues at Mar-a-Lago were doubled to $200,000 after Trump took office. For some other trips, the First Lady has hopped aboard Air Force One for the trip to Mar-a-Lago, as she did during the 8th week of his president. Melania Trump, the president, and Barron Trump could all be seen exiting the plane. The First Lady waved at one point and the president made a fist for the gathered crowd. White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer has defended the president's trips to Florida, saying Mar-a-Lago is where he goes to see his family. He brings people down there. This is part of being president. I can't think of anything like this that we've seen at any time in the modern era, George Washington Law School professor Steve Schooner told NBC News for a story on the president's travel. It's just another example of his consistent efforts to exploit public office for private gain, the ethics expert added. He's using his official office and the fact that people have to travel with him, meet him, and follow him to promote his commercial enterprise, in this case his privately owned club. The government has yet to release Secret Service or Air Force data that would provide the precise costs of Trump's travel to Mar-a-Lago. There might be ways to cut on costs. It wasn't immediately clear why the First Lady had to take a large 757-type aircraft for the trip. She would most likely be accompanied by a team of Secret Service agents who look after her and Barron. Although President Trump is the first office holder to own a fleet of aircraft, it is unlikely the Secret Service would consent to using private transportation even if the president offered to use one of his Sikorsky helicopters or one of his own custom jets to transport the First Lady to Washington so that the two could travel together. There are times when even the president has taken a smaller aircraft, such as the time President Obama and First Lady Michelle Obama took a smaller jet to New York for a date night that included a show. The first family's decision to take 2 government jets to Mar-a-Lago for Easter comes as Eric Trump's trip to Great Britain-Ireland racked up additional taxpayer costs. Hotel and rental car costs for the agents who protect Eric and Donald Trump, Jr. when they travel have topped $190,000 since January.